Tracy McGrady just pulled off the ultimate betrayal. Once a close friend of Kobe Bryant, T-Mac has now flipped the script. He lost his cool on live TV, claiming that he could have won titles with Shaq in LA just like Kobe did. He said it outright while sitting on ESPN, the so-called worldwide leader in—
Face me with Kobe with Shaq. I don't win a championship. You don't think I could carry the Lakers to a championship? Like, I've never had the opportunity.
Correct.
I felt like if I was put in that position to win a championship, I damn sure would show up and do what I do in the play.
Who's backing him up? None other than Gilbert Arenas. Yes, Agent Zero himself, the hibachi. The man who once had his hand in the cookie jar, playing mouthpiece for Clutch Sports. And that LeBron-friendly narrative doesn't come cheap. He called Kobe his idol, but now he spends every chance he gets dragging the Mamba's name through the mud. The irony is wild because both of them used to ride hard for Kobe, but now they're cashing checks and pushing agendas. Let's keep it real. This isn't about basketball history. It's about business. McGrady and Arenas have their hands in the pot.
If we take Bron, who he is now, with the athleticism, speed and everything, agility, and put him in that triangle, learning that, I think we talk about, I don't think it's a question.
Yeah, you couldn't.
I don't think there's a question who the greatest player.
No shocker here. Their mission is crystal clear. Tear down Kobe's legacy while hyping up LeBron. And of course, they trotted out the same tired topics, Shaq, Phil Jackson, the triangle offense, like broken records. Here's the kicker. T-Mac even found a way to throw shade at both Kobe and Michael Jordan in one swoop. That's a double win for him, no doubt. He straight up painted LeBron as a basketball genius while making it sound like Kobe was nothing without that.
Think if Bron played in a system like the triangle and Kobe was the system, do they have the same type success individually?
And the wild part is, even Gilbert couldn't believe how far he went with it. But let's not get it twisted. This is straight up revisionist history. The idea that Kobe couldn't dominate without the triangle is pure nonsense.
Kobe can't be, he could beat a system, but he won't win. Is that what we said? Every team he's won with, he's been in a triangle.
Meanwhile, LeBron, the same guy who built his entire GOAT case on box scores and stat padding, is suddenly being sold as someone who'd sacrifice his numbers for a system built on sharing. That's laugh-out-loud comedy. The truth is, Kobe already proved he could freelance outside of any system and still lead the league in scoring whenever he wanted. Even McGrady and Gilbert had to admit that. But then they tried to spin it by saying Kobe might have scored at will, but he wouldn't have won championships without the triangle.
Extra moving he does will have elevated his passing. And then when he decided to go, you can't stop him, right? So it'll help him become a winner fast.
That's the narrative they're selling, and fans can see right through it. Everything they're saying falls apart once you look at the actual context. These critics love to cherry-pick the weakest stretch of Kobe's career, right after the Shaq trade and before Pau Gasol showed up, when he was dragging a lineup featuring Kwame Brown, Smush Parker, Brian Cook, Chris Meem, and Luke Walton. Not a single one of those guys ever made an all-star team. Not one All-NBA, nothing across their entire careers combined. 0 honors. But somehow, that's the evidence they cling to for why Kobe couldn't win without the triangle. Please. Meanwhile, McGrady and Arenas spin this fantasy that LeBron would have just stepped in and started stacking rings immediately, like he could walk into that system, give up stats, and magically thrive. But here's the problem. Thriving in the triangle requires specific skills: shooting, footwork, moving without the ball. And let's be real, LeBron has never mastered those. T-Mac even claimed the triangle would have forced LeBron to develop those skills quicker. What a joke.
We can't slow it down when we got a fast break. We can't play in the 2-guard front when we got Derrick Rose and Raymond Felton. Like you can't do that. You can't put Derrick Rose up there in the 2-guard front. That's just not his game. Like we need D Rose up and down the court. That's where you see guys wasn't comfortable in that situation. I was one of them. But I was talking to Kobe all the time just about the triangle and just how to do things. I would call MJ and just get little pointers on him on how to play the triangle. But it was very hard because it wasn't hard to learn it. It was hard to execute.
It's been 23 years and the man still hasn't mastered them. This is the same guy shooting under 37% outside of 4 feet for his career. But somehow the triangle was going to turn him into a mid-range sniper overnight? Stop it. And here's another thing. The triangle slows everything down. LeBron's entire game thrives in transition, exploiting mismatches, running the floor, and pushing the pace. That's literally his bread and butter. But listen to Carmelo Anthony explain why the triangle failed in New York. It slowed the game, killed rhythm, and wasn't easy to execute.
If Bron is able to play in a system and be able to be the system, and one can't be the system, but he could be in a system, who's the best basketball player?
Melo, a top 10 scorer in NBA history, struggled with it. But McGrady wants us to believe LeBron would have mastered it instantly? Yeah, okay. And then comes the wildest part. McGrady said LeBron would have been the closer in the triangle.
Science. That's Red Holzman used to say that all the time. This is not rocket science. A lot of players don't have, per se, the skills, as you alluded to play in a system of offense that requires.
Think about that. This is the same LeBron who's 8 for 29 in clutch final situations, the final 2 minutes of one-score games. That's just 27.5%. His teams in those moments have 10 wins and 11 losses. Those numbers don't scream cold-blooded closer, they scream the opposite. And that's why, when the pressure is highest, LeBron has built a reputation for folding instead of finishing. LeBron's finals record stands at 4 wins and 6 losses. But check Kobe's numbers in the same clutch scenarios. Kobe went 10 for 20 in those finals moments, shooting 50% from the field, with his teams going 11-5 in those games. That's how you build a 5-2 finals record. T-Mac and Gil clearly don't understand. There are levels to greatness. And honestly, why are we even entertaining T-Mac's nonsense? This is the same guy who never won a single playoff series in his entire career. His postseason record? 19 wins, 31 losses. That's it. And funny enough, that failure looks eerily similar to another player's career finals record, one that just happens to be 22 wins, 33 losses. Coincidence? I think not. Now about this so-called triangle offense, people love to say Phil Jackson invented it, but he didn't. It was first designed by Sam Barry at USC back in the 1930s. Tex Winter picked it up as a player under Barry in the 40s, refined it at Kansas State, and then carried it all the way into the NBA. That's the guy who made the system work under Phil Jackson, from the Bulls dynasty in '85 through the Lakers run in 2004. Even Phil admitted it's not rocket science. But it also isn't built for everyone, especially not in today's league, where pace, space, and quick offense dominate. You said, somehow, we're supposed to believe LeBron would have been the GOAT in that system, that all he needed was to suddenly develop elite footwork, deadly shooting, and off-ball mastery. Things he hasn't shown in 23 years of basketball. That's pure fantasy. Thanks for rocking with me through this breakdown. Drop a comment with your thoughts on T-Mac's hot take. Hit that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear the truth, and of course make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss the next one.